So Summer Sports Games is a minigame collection with sports in it, of which there are a very surprising amount, and it's all about mashing buttons or pressing buttons or the control stick in proper timing in order to do the best you can at a variety of sports events. It's basically a game just full of QTEs, and a lot of the events do feel very similar, as they do in real life, but the events all function well and the controls work perfectly fine. The game tasks you with multiple QTEs per event, and if you do perfectly at all of them, then you're pretty much guaranteed success. But there are some situations where you can't do perfect, and it's more up to player input and strategy. These are few and far between, but for example, determining the optimal angle on your javelin, that's something that's entirely up to you. No, it's not the big green part in the center, believe it or not. And even when there isn't strategy involved, there are so many QTEs involved in the various games that you have to have skills at various forms of button mashing, such as alternate button mashing and just straightforward breaking your finger off, tap as hard as you can button mashing. It would be a little hard to replicate the nuance of most events without QTEs while still making it accessible for the family-friendly audience they're going for, so this was probably the best way to go about it, but there is one minigame that stands head and shoulders above the rest in terms of both accessibility and enjoyability. Because the archery minigame is by far the best part of the package. You have to aim your reticle while fighting the wind to try and get the arrow in the center, and everyone can understand wind speeds and wind direction to a relative enough level to do good at the game, but it still also requires an amount of hand-eye coordination beyond simply mashing something. It would be nice if all of the minigames had this level of depth, but I'm genuinely unsure how you would give this level of depth in a family-friendly party game to something such as weightlifting, aside from selling the game with a peripheral that's as heavy as a real set of weights that you can add additional weight onto, but I think at that point you're no longer appealing to a child-friendly audience. And while some of the minigames can be a bit much, expecting a bit too much button mashing and perfection from the player, such as the pole vaulting or pole jumping minigames, there is the fact that the AI seems to adjust itself to your competence level. Having played with myself and watched my sister play single player, it seems that the AI is very kind in the fact that it is only as difficult as you're competent. Now, I could easily be wrong about this, it just seems that the AI has adaptive difficulty based on what I've experienced playing it with myself and watching my sister play the game. But aside from the few instances of depth, such as determining your angle during the javelin throw or long jump, or pacing yourself somewhat during the rally events, it's very difficult to point out any nuanced design in the game. The QTEs are varied enough, and it was really fun to play with my family for a little bit, but there are a whole lot of this type of game. There are a lot of mini-game collections based on sports. It's a very frequent thing to see. So even though I can say, in complete good faith, that this game is well designed based on the standards it set out and what it tries to do, I can't imagine it would appeal to too many people. But that's not my job. My job is to tell you that I think the game design is alright, and I think the game design is alright.